歡迎大家嚟到今日嘅專題演講1表演藝術出版的創意與挑戰嘅。咁咧呢一節咧將會係以英文咧係做進行嘅呢個講座。咁咧需要廣東翻譯嘅朋友咧可以喺畫面嘅下方咧嘅口譯選單中咧選擇廣東話。咁這一屆的講座將以英語進行。如果想聽普通話翻譯的，請在畫面下方的口譯選單中選擇普通話，謝謝。跟住我就會轉英文㗎啦。Welcome to the webinar, and I'm the host, Yan Peto. Okay, and then we are very glad to have Paul Tischler to be here with us. Okay, and I know that we can't clap our hands, but let me be the representative. Okay, to give a big hand to Paul. Okay. To be the guest of the webinar. And let me introduce Paul for a while. Okay, Paul from 2006 to 2011, he was the marketing director of Theater Der Zeit in Berlin. And since 2011, and he has been a managing partner of a magazine, theater magazine of Theater Der Zeit. Okay. And also he co-founded the bookstore Einar Bert in 2014. And I'm very glad to have Paul here because, personally, Einar Bert is one of my favorite places in Berlin. Every time when I visited Berlin, and then I will go to that bookstore to enjoy the neighborhood because, as Paul has described, this is a bohemian district. And also I have started one of my plays there, okay, in a cafe, and then to write 1/3 of the play. And it is a really very good and enjoyable bookstore, and also the district. And I want to remind, every audience, there will be a Q&A section, and please use the Q&A function and feel free to send us your questions or comments in English or Chinese. Okay, thank you. So, maybe let's get started, and let's invite Paul, to start your keynote speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peto Yan, for this very kind and hearty introduction. I'm very happy. I'll just start the keynote presentation, so you can see that. Yeah, hello everybody, and thank you very much for the kind invitation. I'm very honored. Unfortunately, I'm not happy to be here in Berlin today. I would rather be in Hong Kong to meet you all personally. But it is what it is. My name is Paul Tischler. I'm, as Jan said, I'm managing director of Theater Der Zeit. My Berlin-based company runs a publishing house for theater books and magazines, a music label for theater, and a theater bookshop with an affiliated web shop called stagebooks.shop. Everything in my life revolves around theater, you can say. I've been invited to explain today the challenge of theater publishing in Germany. I will first give you a brief introduction to the company, followed by an insight into the structure and functioning of the German book market in order to clarify how a publication can reach the customer. Then I will explain what strategies we pursue with our own bookshop and what measures are taken to promote the publicity of theater books. Finally, I will talk about the challenges in times of crisis. This will be followed by a Q&A round, which I'm particularly looking forward to hear your questions. Theater der Zeit was founded by Soviet cultural officers in 1946, 1 year after the end of the war, the Second World War. It had 32 pages in the A4 format, and a proud circulation of 50,000 copies back then. The magazine was printed on a machine that had survived the bombing raids in the cellar of a printing house in Berlin-Mitte. Berlin-Mitte is a center part of Berlin. It's until the collapse of the GDR, Theater der Zeit was to remain the only theater magazine on the east side, actually, of Germany. In 1993, the magazine was refounded as a politically independent magazine in reunited Germany. Since 2000, it has been published monthly, and 2021, next year, it will be its 75th anniversary, for which we have planned a completely new concept for the magazine and a redesign. So let us surprise you when it'll come out. These were actually the most important turning points in our magazine, the name giver of our company, and actually the center of our enterprise. In 2014, we founded a music label that documents theater music, as well with the relocation of the company, our own bookshop, Einar and Bert. We employ 15 permanent staff and numerous freelancers. Every year, we publish about 40 new theater publications with an annual turnover of 1 million euros. We are a complete private company and do not receive institutional support from the government or any other third party. So let's take a look at the German book market first. I will give you an overview in figures so that you know what surrounding we are working. In Germany, we have 37.52 million people that buy at least one book a year. That means that almost every second person, Germany has 80 million inhabitants, so almost every second person buys regularly books. This is actually a lot and at first sight, a very huge market. And within Germany, there were 70,395 new publications in the year 2019. That means 193 new books every day. So every day, almost 200 new publications are on the market. It's very tough for booksellers to handle this amount of new books. And of the almost 70,000 books a year, 240 books dealt actually with theater in the broadest sense. That is a market share of theater publications in Germany of 0.3%, 240 books. In the German book market, the product group humanities, arts, and music generates a turnover of 5%. As I said, bookshops, there are 6,000 bookshops in Germany, of which 231 are located in Berlin, in the capital, where our company is based. So we have 230 other bookshops in our city. And in Germany, there's one theater bookshop of the 6,000 bookshops. One bookshop that is actually specialized on what we are doing and what you are doing, theater. So how does the book reach the customer? This is actually always the question that we are asking ourselves when we're making books. And so we're in the market overview to tell you something about the structure of the distribution, how it works in Germany when a book is made. Once the book has been printed, it goes to the publisher's distribution department, which is, in our case, a very large storage area in Saxony, a part in the southeast of Germany. Which stores the publisher's books and processes the orders from the trade. Retailers include, of course, bookshops, but especially the 3 wholesalers in Germany. These are also very huge storage places located in the geographical center of Germany, so they can spread and go send the books overnight to almost any small of the 6,000 bookstores within Germany, and they do it overnight. And the 3 wholesalers in Germany are called Libri, KNV, and Umbreit. So Libri, KNV, and Umbreit in English maybe is the pronunciation. The wholesalers supply the bookshops and online shops also, such as Amazon, for example. So when a customer buys a book at Amazon, we don't know, because we sell the books to the wholesalers and then it goes somewhere and we don't know where it goes to. We don't know how many people actually buy books on Amazon, because we only sell them to Libri, and Libri does not tell us who ordered there. Customers at the end, of course, it is probably the same in Hong Kong, and buy their books either online, directly from the publisher, or from the bookshop around the corner. In Germany, fixed book prices are in place to protect small stationary retailers. This works surprisingly well. The books cost the same everywhere. The structure of the book trade is unique, but also very vulnerable. There is at least one bookshop in every small town, almost like theaters, but even, of course, more, because there are 6,000 bookshops and not 6,000 theaters in Germany, of course. So at least one bookshop in every small town. There's also usually a bookshop at the railway station. And if customers order a book, they can pick it up there next year. You go to a bookseller, say, I want to have this book, and next year you can pick it up. And next day you can pick it up. Nevertheless, the crisis in the book trade is immense. Often, these are owner-managed shops that are opened by one person in the morning and closed again by the same person in the evening. Mostly, the margin for booksellers is only 30%. So a strolling customer who takes half an hour of advice and ends up buying a book for 10 euros brings 3 euros, of which the taxes have yet to be paid. That does not leave much to live on, and certainly not for employees. Nevertheless, still, the booksellers receive publishing house representatives who present the new publications personally. That happens twice a year. In the book trade, there are these two decisive dates when the representatives of the publishers visit the bookshops. Once in spring, it's almost in March, April, around this time, at the Leipzig Book Fair, and once in autumn, in October, November, the Frankfurt Book Fair. These are the very important book fairs in Germany. In this rotation, the publishers present their publishing house previews, the program for the next 6 months. Our book program, preview program, went actually to press just last week. It was very, very hard work. The preparation of a publisher's preview is actually a major task. Every book project has to be dry cleaned before it is announced. That means contracts have to exist, licenses have to be acquired, titles have to be found, covers have to be designed, and approvals have to be obtained from all authors and sponsors. My eye rings are correspondingly large today, but I'm happy that it's already out and we're done with that. After printing the preview, all finished title information will be distributed to the press, the trade, and to the professional audience, our readers, by post, email, social media, online, on all channels. So we have all information of every title ready, and then it can go out to the world and for marketing, preview marketing. Nevertheless, we decided to found a bookshop specializing in theater. We combined the opening with a relocation of the publishing house to our own premises, actually. We moved to Prenzlauer Berg, a very bohemian neighborhood where many established artists live. So you can see it on the map. It's quite in the center, yes. And I actually, at the moment, where you can see the small lake on the northeast, Weißensee, that's where my home office is.
Oh.
Yes. Einar Bert is a corner shop with a small street cafe. Behind the bookshop are the premises of the publishing house. So you go inside the bookshop, and behind are the offices of the publishing house. Our assortment consists of 50% theater literature and 50% fiction and children's books. Let me show you some pictures so you can have an impression of what it looks inside. And in order to make the bookshop known, we have organized many events and also placed advertisements at the beginning. Instead of one opening day, we had 30 opening days in a row with 30 events. These included readings, puppet theater, concerts, and discussions. A lot of theater celebrities were present, Vladimir Malakov, Shoko Nakamura, and Václav Dudek, the ballet artists. And we received Thomas Ostermeier here. We received a lot of national press actually, and we also are printed in book publications where we're presented there. Yeah, we have a brass orchestra in 80 square meters. Yes, these were the days back then before COVID-19. Unimaginable today. And in the meantime, the bookshop is also very well known in Germany. In 2017 and 2020, just a few days ago, actually, last Sunday, we were awarded as the title Special Place of Culture in Germany. It is an award by the federal government, cultural minister. But also, yeah, we think that the location of Berlin is just right for a theater bookshop. Berlin is not only the capital of Germany, but also the creative center with 3 opera houses and a ballet, 6 large theater houses, and countless independent theater groups. The reason for opening our own bookshop back then was that we had difficulty actually in establishing a physical presence in the trade with our specialized publishing titles. It's very tough for a theater title to get placed in a general bookshop, because of course almost 200 new publications a day, a bookshop manager cannot place all books in the shelves. The few committed booksellers who still had theater departments gradually abolished them. Our readers, in turn, kept asking us where to buy our theater books. But we didn't find it interesting to stock an entire bookshop only with our own titles. We have only published about 400 books so far. And you cannot open a bookshop with 400 titles. On our shelves are actually between 8,000 and 10,000 books. So you can see that it's not possible just to run a bookshop with only publishing titles. You must have a big selection of books to make it attractive. Theater people from all over the world come to visit. Yeah, Peter Jan just said it. It made me very happy that you said it. From all over the world come to visit, and of course the neighborhood with their daily book needs. That is also very important for us economically. That's why we have also children and theater books and novels. Theater festivals are also equipped by us with a curated book program. So we select the books and run book tables at the festivals, like Theatertreffen, for example, Berlin Theatertreffen. But I'll tell you right away, the bookshop is not economically viable. Unfortunately, it is far from it. With it, we afford ourselves an inspiring place to meet for our business partners, for colleagues, and for our visitors. It creates a radiance for the entire company and keeps us up to date. We present our new publications there or invite guests to present and to discuss their projects. And of course, everything revolves around theater. Theater in the broadest sense: drama, opera, puppetry, performance, dance. I think it is important to maintain a presence, and not a presence for physical books, yes, and not to disappear with the topics in any archive, just in archives or in any lists. You need to have a physical presence. In the publishing house, ourselves just somehow always work in secret behind closed offices, and there with a bookshop we allow an opening and welcome people, and this is just great, even if it's just economically very, very difficult. So let me now speak about online and offline promotion for performing arts publications. Oh, that was too early. Our book publishing company consists of a very small team of 6 people, if you don't count the administration. Yeah, so there are six people. Nevertheless, we produce 40 new publications a year. That means almost every week a new book that needs to be promoted properly. Our visitors often find it hard to believe that there are only so few of us when they come to our place. So we need to have a very tight marketing schedule that we apply to every book. First of all, in advance notice, like I said before, like the book preview is sent out to the press and the booksellers, both by email and by post. Then there is, of course, a newsletter and an individual press release and an advertisement in the magazine when the book is released. In addition, promotional materials are provided for the partners, so they can spread the postcards, stickers, preview booklets, and digital reading samples. As soon as reviews are published, we share them on our social networks. In general, there is at least one event for each new publication, which is then advertised accordingly. So from the preview to the release to the press reviews and the event, you always have like a chain of progress of advertising possibilities, and you use like the same instruments and have like a certain amount of time for each book, and you can handle it with 6 to 8 with 6 people. Okay, yes, of course we could need more people to do that. Today's challenges, in terms of challenges, a distinction can be made between the fundamental challenges and those that are specifically current. Basically, it is a very small and heterogeneous market that makes the whole undertaking very difficult. There are hardly any topics or publications that interest all theaters, all theater actors, all theater people. Even within a theater scene, there are other small sub-scenes that are very different from each other. For example, in dance, there is ballet, classical or modern, then there is performance, hip-hop, etc. And so you cannot say, it's just, we make a dance publication and it must interest all dance people. No, you have the hip-hop people, the modern ballet people, and the classical. So, and they don't really, they are in their interests group. So, in short, the sales market is too small to refinance elaborate book production solely through retail sales. It needs third-party funding. Then there is, of course, the digitization, which the specialist publishers have not yet found a recipe for dealing with. on the one hand, people buy their books on the internet and less in bookstores. And on the other hand, for most people, the internet is enough just as a research tool. It's fine by them to have the internet as a free medium. Digital media use on monitors takes up too much time, leaving little time for analog media. It is a fundamentally difficult, if not precarious, business. And COVID-19 has made the situation worse. In the lockdown, all booksellers have used their free time to tidy up their stores and return their books to the publishers. This means that not only in these days we were unable to sell our books, but we also had to write numerous credit notes because all booksellers returned their books. They had finally the time to tidy up their shelves. What's more, the theaters in Germany are closed for weeks and months, with the result that they cannot place any advertisements in our magazine. And the advertisements are an important financial pillar of the magazines. Fortunately, Theater der Zeit is well established and in great demand in the field of corporate publishing. Our subscribers from the magazines also give us a financial basis. But the whole thing is still uncertain if it continues like this. No one knows. I have also been asked to report on management topics, but this is a very large field, management topics. So I suggest that specific questions on this topic be answered in the Q&A forum. And I see, I look at the time and I see that I spoke very quickly. It is 9:32. Maybe we can use the time left for a discussion or for question and answers. And this is an input that I gave you, and I'm very happy to answer any question that is coming up to you. So thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Okay, and yeah, audience. Okay, it's good that we can have more time to exchange the ideas and also welcome any questions. And there is a question, from the audience, from Catherine Yao, and she said, how does ebooks impact the theater book publishing business? And also, does it shorten the publishing time, making it more accessible to readers, drawing more readers, increase or decrease the trade margin, and how receptive are ebooks in Germany? Yeah, and quite different questions. Okay.
Yes, so hold on. I'm closing the presentation. Though you can see now my face, right?
Yes, I can see your face now. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, cool.
And
you also see the question. You can also click the Q&A box, right?
Okay, this is nice.
Yeah.
Hold on.
But anyway, I usually will repeat. Okay.
Very good. Nice. The ebook impact on theater publishing, or actually, so the ebook market in Germany is a very small market still. It is only 5% of the market share in Germany are ebooks. It is completely different to the United States, for example. It's still not very rich. And you can say that in our field of theater publication, it is the same amount. It is also only 5%, like the general. It is not that much. We do it for every book. because we see the chances and we see the opportunities for archive and for research, and it's very necessary to have the digital format of printed books just for documentation and for archive, but economically it is not a factor. So we make ebooks, of course, but even for corporate publishing, when we develop and make book productions with theater companies and theaters, there is no demand for ebooks. They always want to have a printed version, and it is always us who say, listen, this is all good, but we also need to have a nice ebook format. And then they are surprised that, yes, it does not really interest us that much, but we can make a PDF version, for example. So does it shorten the publishing time, making it accessible? I don't know. The publishing time is the printing is the very last step, and the work for a book is like a year. We work almost a year or 1.5 years on a book to make it, to release it. And then the printing time is only 2 weeks. So in proportion, the printing time is not that very decisive, because we want to make books that stay in place for years. And not in the magazine business, it is quite a time factor, actually, because our magazine is printed within 5 days, 5 working days. And these 5 days for an update magazine in these days is a long time. So this is in the magazine business, when you want to publish news, this is actually a time factor. But with books, we want to, yes, stay for a long time. Yeah, current. Drawing more readers, maybe. There are astonishing figures with the issue platform. Actually, we can have a good insight of how many people from all over the world, you have a map, read it, and there are thousands of impressions, thousands of people who click on the books and who read them. So I think it is very good as a very good marketing instrument, and you can reach a wider audience. Yes. Decrease the margin. Yes, that's what the trade margin. It's almost the same. It's all between 30 and 50% trade margin for ebooks, but still the market is so small that it has no economic relevance at the moment.
Okay, good. And okay, there is okay, very good. There are more questions, and there is one question asked. Okay, you mentioned the third-party funding received in order to make the okay, suddenly disappeared. Okay, I can see it. In order to make the publishing of the books economically viable, but what type of the third-party funders support this financially, and has the funding landscape changed in recent years? Yeah, it's about the issue of the funding. Yeah.
Yes. There are, for every project, you have to find a partner. So when we have an idea of a topic that we are interested in and want to make a book about, we ask ourselves who we can go to and ask for money. There's not just one institution that you apply. Unfortunately, there is no institution that is specialized on publication funding. There were some in the past, but they are all gone. They have no funding left for book publications. There are some, if you want to make a translation, there's a place where you can apply to translation funding. And then there is, you go to theaters actually and ask the theaters themselves, for example, or you have foundations and that are interested in the broadest sense for, say, let's say a foundation for Eastern topics or topics from Eastern Europe. and they're specialized on promoting Eastern Europe in general. And you can apply there because you have a book that makes sense in their topic, or you have foundations that support the arts of a certain region of Germany. For example, Nordrhein-Westphalia is a very large region in the west of Germany, and they have an arts program to promote their regional arts. And then we said, oh yeah, in the book, the artist actually comes from there, so we maybe can apply there and it is relevant for them. And so you always have to think to which foundation which could fit the book. Yes.
Okay. So there are some fundings which tailor-made for the local community of writers, right? And I have also heard about a Goethe Institute might support the translation projects. Do your company also collaborate with them? Okay, just some follow-up questions.
The translation, translation funding?
The translation project, yeah. Say translate German into other language or translate other languages into German. I've heard about sometimes Goethe Institutes might support.
Yeah. Yes. Goethe Institut, Auswärtige Amt, the Foreign Ministry, and there are some institutions that support translations, and Deutsche Übersetzerfonds, for example, that we are working with to translate plays, for example, foreign plays.
Okay, cool. And there's another question. Okay, will you publish theater books in other languages? Okay, also about the language issue. Even in Asian languages, and if you have done so, how does the sale market respond? Or if you have not done so, okay, will you have such a plan to do so?
We would love to actually, but we have not yet found a way to sell the books in Asia and in China or in Hong Kong. In China and Hong Kong, it is very. We are working. We would love to sell our translate books and sell them there, but we don't have. We have not a structure yet found that is we can apply to. Of course, we translate books into English language. We have many books that are bilingual, and we have books that are published in French, Italian, so European languages. And this year we made also the first book published in Arabic language for the theater director Theodoros Tasopoulos. His methods, we translated his book into 3 languages. And this we do, and we sell them digitally and also with the artists in their country, but Asian, unfortunately, not yet.
Okay, you may consider, or you may talk about it with the IATC. Okay, IATC has a lot of experience. Okay, I'm not doing promotion because I'm not a member of IATC. Anyway, but okay, worth considering. Okay. And there's another question. What are your marketing strategies in view of the challenges? Okay, you have mentioned the challenges, with fundamental and also the current situation. Okay, and do you have any ways to deal with this kind of challenges?
Yes, that is a very, very good question and very necessary topic to think about. The problem is with the crisis at the moment is that it takes up very much energy and time. And when you have like only a small amount of people trying to manage the whole thing at all to remain, because everything closes down and the advertisements clients cancel, and you have to deal with all these problems and want actually finally go back to work and do your stuff. It is the marketing is often just at the end. So actually we could do more at the moment for marketing in these days, but there's not enough resources to do that. We have many ideas, and but it's just not the manpower that behind us that is necessary to actually make a good marketing, crisis marketing or book marketing in times of crisis. We, of course, a locally management, we have like for the bookshop newsletters, and we have make posters, and we inform the people about new opening times and solidary announcements, and we installed a telephone number that is available very early and very late, so the people can call us and order their book, and we bring it by them by bicycle in the neighborhood and by a car a bit far. So we show that we are present and we're there, we're not gone. Even if the bookshop is closed, they can reach us by phone, by email, online, and stuff like that. But the communication could be more, and the communication with the clients is very time consuming, and time is something at the moment we don't have. Yes.
Understood. Yeah, great challenge. Okay, and there's another question. Okay, of course, the pandemic affects us all. Do you see a change in behavior in the readers? More online or more books? Do you make any special combinations with theaters to arrange for special events online, or for instance? Okay, yes, okay.
Actually, I think for institutions, I can see a change when our cooperation partners like the festivals or the city governments or universities and embassies. These are like our institutional partners. They say it is very good that we have cooperation with you, because we can make a book and we know that it will be released, it will go public, and the people can order it, the people can read it. When we support like a performance, it is very hard to say, will it happen? How can it be? It is not very proper to plan, and with you we can make publications, and it is very, you can rely on. So the demand on this side has positively changed actually for us. And there's a big demand, but for our readers, I don't know. It is very tough to tell because it is subscription based. Our magazine is sent out to subscribers, and how people read it, it is tough to read. We just made focus group interviews with our readers, and we see there that it's just the people just don't have time to read analog media. It is amazing. They are on the monitor and read the news, and have all their mobile phone channels. And the bookshop people the bookstop is still well visited, and so I don't see a big change actually for public theater publication reception. You could think it, no? Yes, because theaters are closed, and so they cannot go to theaters, so they can finally read about theater instead of going to theater.
But also, I think it's also relevant to whether the audience or the readers have the habits of, say, reading a play. Okay, they will watch a theater, but do they have the habits of reading a plays or the books relevant to performing arts? Do you think it is a habit?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think it's yes.
Okay.
There are some people who read the plays. We print in every issue, we print a complete play, and there are some of our subscribers that say, I never read it. You print it, it's nice that you print it, but I never read the play. And there are some readers some people in our subscribers that say, I'm awaiting it because I love to read the plays. And there's some types of people who read plays and some who don't. So I don't think that the crisis has changed it.
Okay.
This behavior.
Okay, another question. Is it a possible way for publishing theater books as individual publisher? It seems more flexible, like in scale or cost. And under this rapidly changed society nowadays, it is easy to have individual publishing in Germany. Okay, about independent publisher. Yeah.
You mean if it's I see I must read it again, sorry.
Okay, yes. Okay, it is
as an
okay.
independent.
You may also click the box with answered. Okay, the last one from Choi Po-in Choi. Yeah.
Okay, is it possible way for publishing theater books as an individual publisher?
Yeah.
As an individual without a publishing house, you mean? As a writer, for example, and without this. Yes, there are ways, but you cannot go to the wholesalers and to the retail stores as an individual publisher with a script published, printed out, and you don't come into the wholesalers market. You can of course distribute online as an ebook. This is possible, and yes, you can. There are ways, of course, for individual distribution, but not in the large scale. Not as in a booksellers. You cannot go just by click go to reach all 6,000 bookshops. It is online, of course, possible, but not physically.
Yeah, it's still hard, okay, for independent publisher. Though, okay, we may admire, okay, Germany has a big population of reading books because, okay, you have mentioned the figures, but it seems, okay, still difficult for the independent publishers, right?
Yes, independent publishers in the sense of small company like Theater der Zeit, where an individual or an independent publishing house, not connected to a large international group of investors, but we are just owner-based company with 15 people. And I don't know if it's hard. It's both, as you are very flexible, very very fast. You can talk with the partners directly and make decisions and say, yes, we make this book and it will be there in 3 months and you can rely on it. You don't have a big structure, and you can ask with the booksellers personally, and it also has positive effects, of course, as an individual independent publisher.
Okay, good. And another question is, okay, you mentioned that the bookshop is still not profitable. And will you see that the bookshop profits someday? How to sustain the business?
Yes, actually, we have a plan. That our plan is our goal, and what we are actually very close, and which is good.
Good. Yeah.
Is to finance the people who work in the shop. Our booksellers, they are employees. We have 3 employees. Their costs have to be covered, and also the costs for the books that we buy. Yes, the material and the people must be paid by the income of the bookshop. And the other costs, like the general costs for administration and for the room, for example, these costs are covered by our publishing house because it's our own premises. We own the place, and so we don't have a rent or something. So we take care of this, but we want to have the people paid that work in the stores and the books, and this is fine for us. Of course, I don't know if it's possible actually maybe it's to have a profit someday, but I don't want to. I'm actually fine with when these 2 goals are reached. Yes.
I hope it's okay. You can make profits, okay, in the very near future.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, another question. You have mentioned that your magazine is going to have a new direction or new look when you talk about its history. Actually, this one is okay. I'm also interested in it. Could you share with us what it is? Okay, a little bit. Okay.
Yes, actually, it is a very big project going on at the moment. We are sort of reinventing all our publication formats at the moment. Our new online website is, we have 3 programmers, the software developers that make a new web project for digital streaming content and stuff that will be released the next year. They've been working on it for 2 years, and also the magazine. There we are working with media consultants from Hamburg at the moment that make the process with us because it is a very big project. We just don't want to change the colors and the fonts. We want to make like the concept. How relevant can a monthly magazine in these days can be? What do you actually, what is the function of a printed monthly magazine in these days? This is also substantial questions that we are asking ourselves at the moment, and not only ourselves, we go to our readers, we have like focus group interviews and ask about their media habits, about what is interesting, what do you expect in a monthly theater magazine, what are you interested in? And so we have like on the one hand an online offer for our readers with quick and infos and very current things, and then we have like the premium printed version with long articles, essays, plays, and so more debates, and so this is something that we are at the moment working on very hard, and it's a big thing. And yes, at the end there will be a design process. When we have like the concept ready, then we have a designer that will put it in a very nice form. Actually, and we ask them also about the physical appearance of our magazine. How we ask our readers in the focus groups, how do you like the paper and the format and the frequency of the appearance? And they were all fine with it. There was no, they said, don't change it. It's nice. We like the paper. We like the frequency of month. We also ask ourselves, is it okay just to have it like every 3 months or half a year or whatever? You ask us questions. Well, what? Yeah, we've been doing it for 20 years, since the year 2000, and never asked ourselves, oh, stop. Is it okay? Because we are always working. We never have the time to think about and reflect about what we are doing. And now we take our time half a year on reflection of what actually are we doing, and is it contemporary or is it relevant to our readers, and what can we do to remain in the future? And this is just a process going on at the moment. And in June, we release the new issue. Yes, hopefully it will be great.
I have to say, theater, their site is a very interesting and fascinating theater magazine. Okay, and though I don't know German much, okay, but I still, okay, every time I would take a look at the magazine. I look forward to the new phase of the magazine. Yeah.
Yes, maybe someday we can make international issues, and this is something we always thought about and discussed about, that someday we can offer international issues, Ausgaben, editions.
That's very interesting. Yeah, and there are two more questions. Okay, one is, may I know that what types or categories of publication you publish every year, and how many plays are you going to publish every year? Yeah.
How many?
Plays,
how many?
Yeah, plays.
Plays.
The play text. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Actually, in Germany, we are interested in contemporary theater, so everything that is coming out at the moment, new plays. This is what we are interested in, actually. And the problem there is that readers in Germany, book buyers, they don't read plays in general. It's contemporary plays. Of course, in school they read like the classics, the classic plays. They read it in school, and but the audience usually doesn't read contemporary plays, so there's no market for it. In France, for example, in France it is just the opposite. The French people read contemporary plays. They love it. They buy it. There's a market for plays, but they don't. The French people don't go to theaters that like in Germany and watch or see contemporary plays as much as the German audience. It's strange. It's just opposite.
Well, it's an interesting topic to investigate.
Absolutely. They read it, but they don't see it. And Germany, it's the opposite. They see contemporary plays, but they don't read it. But in our magazine, we print in every issue one new play, and we have a book series on plays where we publish, I don't know, a year, maybe 20 plays a year we publish. That's not so much, but it's something. Many international plays, actually. Yes.
Okay.
And
yeah, here comes the last question, maybe, okay, because time is running short. And generally speaking, okay, what category of books are more sellable in Germany? Bestsellers, okay, play scripts, dramaturgy, and theater history, review and critic, or others. Okay, I think the category, okay, it means relevance to the performing arts. Yeah.
Yes, I think it is education books are good for basic information. We have a book series that goes very well, that is very generally explaining the theater field, for example, for dramaturgy, for directing, for like the basic education program, education background information. And then plays don't go well at all. Then for stage designers, stage design is also quite good going. And yeah, it just depends. And it's also like the film business has the same problems. You have like very well-known film actors, and you make a book on, for say, Robert De Niro or something, but it doesn't sell. You don't. It doesn't. You think, well, the actor is so famous, you have so many people who are interested, but in film business there are hardly any film publisher in Germany, even though you expect to be there a big market. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Okay, it's an interesting phenomenon. Okay, you love
Absolutely.
to watch it, but you don't like to read it. Okay, thank you very much for Paul's sharing, and let me be the representative to give a big hand to Paul. Okay, thank you very much, and also for the audience. Okay, please let us know your feedback by filling out the questionnaire, and there will be another keynote speech presented at 6 p.m. Please feel free to join us, okay? And Paul, okay, I hope that I can see you at Berlin, or you come to Hong Kong, and then we can have face-to-face communication next time. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.